Every year in the winter, we celebrate Hanukkah. Starts this year on Thursday and lasts for 8 nights and 8 days. 8 crazy nights. It is a festival of the miracle of light. And it's a commemoration of a battle won by a small group of our people against a large empire. It is a holiday that's not in Torah, so it doesn't have the gravitas as some of our other holidays. However, we love it. I love it very much. We can unpack all the reasons why we love it in this particular country we live in with that other holiday. And in addition to how delicious the food is and how fun it is, and what a clear identity shaper it is here in this land, it also holds gorgeous spiritual potency. That is so profound to revisit every year in the wintertime. It's a festival, as I said, of light. And it's a battle. The miracle and the battle of Hanukkah. Both. I often like asking, this is like one of the rabbi questions. Hi, nice to meet you. When you were a kid, did you focus more on the battle or on the light in what you learned about Hanukkah? I can tell you that in my household, it was very much the battle. Very much the battle. It was all about the Maccabees, a small force, the underdogs, who were able to overcome. And in fact, this is a longer story for another day, but we were also encouraged to think about how the light could have lasted for 8 days that had nothing to do with God. But that's a whole other story about how I grew up. Yes, it's been a long journey. And other people have really influenced and know much more about the light and the miracle of the light. And that's where our rabbis of late antiquity emphasized the story. It was a historical occurrence, and they shifted it from the celebration of this battle into the miracle of the light and the oil lasting for 8 days when there was only enough for one. Why did they do it? There's historical reasons for that. The dynasty that came out of the Maccabees, the Hasmonean dynasty, not a good one. Not one that was recalled well. And they were also living under Roman occupation. There had been uprisings that had been squashed, and many, many, many people had died. So they de-emphasized the battle and they lifted up the light. But I think it's worthwhile that we hold both. That we hold both together. We are at once in the light and in the battle. Together they hold what is and what is possible. An active, alive faith. We're held by the divine in wholeness. We are actively working towards mending and fixing and repairing the broken places, to make new, to move, to grow. That is what is at the core of Judaism, the light and the fight, the beauty and the miracle, and the hallelujah and the amen selah of what it is to be alive. And it is the tending and the fixing and the making and the repairing that we are all called to do. Faith in what is possible. Faith in the wholeness of right here, right now. And in my definition of faith, Emnunah, faith, it is just this, being with what is and fighting for what is possible. Being with what is and fighting for what is possible. There are times when we find ourselves in our lives in a battle, in a time of struggle. There is spiritual risk and fight that life can demand of us. Times when we must show up. We draw our words, our bodies, and our actions, and our faith is standing up. I am here. I am not leaving you. We will get through this. Hold on. It is standing up, working to repair, to make better. It is also the active no's. I will not do this to myself anymore. I will not do this to you. Not another drink, not another hit, not another reactive response. It is active. It is a struggle. It is faith standing up. Faith in action. Faith holding on. Keep going on, holding on. The battle and the light and the battle. And in the light, the being with what is, in the awe that is around us right now, this is what Shabbos brings. Shabbat brings this every week. It is 6-1. We are working, fixing, mending, making for 6 days, and then one day in the awe, in the miracle, in the wonder. We might think there is an emphasis on action and doing. Amen, there is in our tradition. But it's not do to get to the rest. It's the awe and the light that brings us to the doing. Light just keeps coming each day. Each day, another candle we build up in Hanukkah. Each day, more light. These children keep growing, and we witness and are amazed. Our beloveds are so much who they are. And we witnessed and are amazed and in awe. We can surrender into the light, into the miracle of being alive, the breathing world around us, her blue body, everything we know. We draw in the light, the Ner on Shabbat, and the light each day, more and more each day on Hanukkah. It is faith in full surrender. It is laying down full prostration faith, falling back, full surrender faith, the standing and the laying down, the light and the fight, the working and the turning over. Emnunah, the light and the fight and the moving between both. And sometimes all at once, sometimes all at once, we need both. There are times in life where there is a sudden change, sudden, unexpected, didn't see it coming. Someone in our community this past week experienced that. Sudden, didn't see it coming, change, total change. Could be death as it was this week, could be a diagnosis, could be an accident, could be a complete life, relationship ending, life change all at once. But then what? Life is then the ongoing change and unfolding. And most of life, the change doesn't happen all at once. And even when the change is all at once, then there's the what happens next, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I feel pretty sure, knowing many of you, that you're good at the fight. So good. You fix and make and do and make better so much. And I think the challenge for many of us is in the light, is in the surrender. And for those of us who've had sudden changes that we didn't expect, Once you integrate around that, then there's the everyday, chronic and ongoing every day. And this is where our faith gets stretched. And it's true in so many situations and very much in relationships. Relationships are chronic and ongoing. Thank God. Faith is lived and breathed every day. And this going on, brings up a potential roadblock to our Emnunah. And that is our friend control. Such a dear one, control. Not trying to disparage control. Oh, how we love it. How we want to be able to control all things, but we cannot. And it is often the barrier is our commitment to control. Inside and outside of our bodies and the world and those we love, we are not in complete control. We are responsible, but not in complete control. And because we control some aspects, it leads us to think that we can control everything, but we cannot. We are responsible, but not in complete control. 2 years ago at Thanksgiving, I was just thinking about it this Thanksgiving, because there's still repercussions. Remember 2 years ago, Thanksgiving, it was 2021. And we were like, oh, we're going to all go be together first time. And we're going to everybody's going to test and we're going to wear masks. And maybe we had Thanksgiving dinner outside. Whatever it looked like, we were all ready. And so our family did that, and it was 19 people, which for us was small. Jordana always likes to tease me about how many people in your family are coming. So it was 19 people. We were all excited. Had dinner, had dessert. And then it happened. One person started throwing up. And then the next person started throwing up. And then the next person started throwing up. We couldn't even get out of the house to get people home because of the throwing up. It was intense. And finally, not everybody was affected, but enough that it was, it was real. Getting the people home who were throwing up, saying it's okay to the hosts as we were trying to usher them out. And then what was interesting was the next day, even that night, there was this text thread trying to figure out exactly the cause of the vomiting. It was a very intense thread. In fact, there may have been a graph by the next morning. Who were the people threw up? What did they exactly eat? And at what point? And I found this feeling inside of myself when the thread went crazy of wow, I want nothing to do with this text thread. I want nothing to do with this. This is trying to pinpoint the exact causes, and I know this experience. I know it too well, and I know it led me again and again and again to a brick wall when I couldn't figure out the cause of what had happened to me. And I stepped away from the text thread, a spiral, obsessive force, to know exactly when all there could be was guesses. They may argue informed guesses, but guesses. This time it was playing out inside of me rather than inside of me, which was helpful to see. And I understood the desire, especially in the midst of COVID, especially in the midst of everything that keeps changing and changing in our lives now and then. Our ancients faced this. It was not new to them. They also dealt with plagues and illness and death and tyrants and persecution and war. And they gifted us the light and the fight They gifted us Emnunah. They gifted us this wisdom of having to hold both. And sacred ancients, they also gifted us that we do not hold faith alone. We do not hold faith alone. We are interdependent. We are interconnected. So much of spiritual teachings, as you know, I say this all the time, focus on the spiritual journey and as a solo journey. And that is not our tradition. I am faithing in you. I am faithing with you. And we can ask each other when we need it, will you keep faith for me? Will you hold it with me? Can we be in faithing? This last piece I wanted to share is I've been thinking about the edge of the sea when we crossed over from Mitzrayim into the other side, from the narrow place, and we were gathered. And as you know, there's a very famous midrash about Nachshon, who took the first steps in, his courage and bravery. What a moment, right? That was faith and courage right there on the edge of the sea. To be with what is and to fight for what was possible. And right then it was a go towards the light into what is possible on the other side. And there was Nachshon. And it struck me that maybe Nachshon didn't go in on his own faith. Maybe Nachshon looked around to see all the others on the edge of the sea with him, looked into their eyes, looked into the light in their eyes. And maybe his courageous leap of faith came from each person, near him and a little bit further away. Maybe he didn't step in for himself, but for his willingness to swim the seas to ease their pain. He had enough of seeing them so hurt. His faith in the divine and the possibility of what could be came from the light in their eyes. I will cross these waters for you, to move faith with you, for you, with us. May you be with what is. May you fight for what is possible. May Emnunah fill you. And may you hold faith in and with and for each other. Happy Hanukkah. Shabbat Shalom.
If you feel like singing a song and you want other people to sing along, just sing what you feel. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're trying to paint a picture but you're not sure what colors belong, just paint what you see. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're strung out like a kite, or stung awake in the night, it's alright to be frightened, 'cause there's a light, white light. There's a light, one light. There's a light, white light inside of you. Yeah.
If you think you might need somebody to pick you up when you drive. Don't lose sight of yourself. Don't let anyone change your bag.
The whole world singing your songs, and all your paintings have been hung. Just remember, what was yours is everyone's from now on.
And that's not wrong or right. And you could struggle with it all you like. You'll only get uptight, 'cause there's a light, white light. There's a light, one light. There's a light, white light. There's a light, white light. There's a light, one light. There's a light, white light. There's a light, white light. There's a light, one light inside of you. There's a light, one light. 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 There's a light, one light.